All right, surprise and welcome back. This is part 2 of the What to Do When Sales Are Low, and we're launching this episode as a bonus episode. Normally we just have one episode a week, but we wanted these to be bingeable for you because I know you're going to want to get both pieces of the puzzle. So we talked about the business approach to what do you do when sales are low, what the business, the mindset, and those practical strategies. And today we are talking with BECCA from the financial, the money approach and the money mindset approach to what do I do when sales are low? How do I navigate this season? And so, BECCA, why don't we just start by saying when you have a client that comes to you, because this happens all the time, when a client comes to you and says, I'm not making any money right now, or sales are super low, or whatever the crisis of the moment is with their money, and they're spiraling and they say, help. What do you say to your clients? What do you walk them through?
My very first question is going to be, do you know your numbers? Like, do you actually know that there are no sales coming in? And do you know what your numbers are so that you know what you need to be bringing into your business? And more often than not, the answer to both of those questions is no, I don't know. And so the reason that this matters, here's the reason why it really matters. What you do with $100 is what you are going to do with $1,000. So a sale coming into your business feels like the knight in shining armor, right? It feels like, whoa, I got to pay in full today. It was $5,000 or $1,000. Like, I have money coming in. Yes, that is so much fun when you have control of your numbers because you know exactly where it's going to go. You know exactly how much of that you can pay yourself. Because what I do know is more times than not, that comes in and it leaves immediately. It got you no closer to your financial goals. It may have even moved you further away from your goals. So more sales is not the answer to begin,
Never.
right? It's not the answer to begin with. More sales, absolutely. Okay, let's think of it this way. You've heard that sales is the oxygen to your business, right? Fantastic. Let's think about that tree. The tree does need oxygen to produce fruit, and it also needs water and it needs soil. And when you root your business, oh, this analogy is going like when you root your business in proper finances, when you build that foundation of proper finances and knowing exactly what your numbers are, knowing exactly what you're going to do with it when that money comes in, when the sale comes, it's even more exciting. And it can produce more sales in your business. And I think that's the piece that people miss a lot. Money management can help you sell more. And the reason that that happens is because you are excited for that money to come in because you know exactly where it's going. You know exactly how it's going to get you to your goal. You know exactly what baby step that's going to take you through, right? It's more fun when the money comes in and you know what to do with it. You know what you're going to do with it. What is not fun is when sales are pouring into your business because you are really good at what you do, right? Or else you wouldn't be doing this. You know how to sell because you have clients or you've had clients in the past. Sales are coming in and that money is used to benefit you as opposed to the analysis paralysis. And this is something else that I hear all the time. I got my biggest paycheck ever or my biggest sale ever. And I have, like, what am I supposed to do with it? How do I know how much to save for taxes? What do I pay myself? Can I pay myself? Do I have too many expenses? All of those swirling questions leave you so mentally exhausted that you can't go out and sell because all you can think about is, what do I do with this money? What do I do with the next sale that comes in? So sales are not going to save your business.
You
They
know, I
have to do
actually,
proper money management. Like,
yeah, and I know that a lot of clients in your world, BECCA, come to you with like this, the sky is falling at first when they have no control of their money. And it's usually never falling. Like once they actually look at their numbers, it's never as bad as it feels that it is. I'm not going to say I can speak for everybody, because obviously there's going to be people out there with like dire situations. But in terms of like the people in our world, because I've been there, like where I felt, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. And because I now have my numbers in control, because I have obviously been coached by you and have buttoned all that up, number one, it was not as bad as I thought it was, which is why I was procrastinating getting in control of my money, which is why it always felt harder to manage, why I had perfectionism around it and kept putting it off until I felt that I could do all the things. And in knowing my numbers, I actually was able to, like, my energy, if we go back to last episode and talking about our energy, my energy shifted hugely. I was able to make decisions. I was able to hire help long before I thought possible. So even when you're not making the sales that you'd like to be making, if you know your numbers, and BECCA can help you do that, like, so simply. I kick myself and we laugh all the time about how long it took me to just make a decision and button it up. But you can make so many more decisions from a place of feeling in control. And when you realize that you don't actually need to make 5K or 10K, if that's the threshold that you're at, in order to, hit your freedom number that BECCA teaches. Like, what do you actually need right now? So even though sales might be in a low season, you might not need what you're telling yourself you need to thrive even.
Well, to live the lifestyle that you want to live. So not just to pay bills, right? So
Right.
a lot of the clients that come to me, the sky is falling, they are making plenty to pay their business expenses and to pay their personal expenses, right? And so once they have that peace of mind, and this is something I asked all of my clients this week, what has money management given you? Like, open ended. You interpret that however you want to. Every single one of them said peace of mind. And so I thought, well, like, what does peace of mind mean? Like, what does energy mean? What does peace of mind mean? I went to go, I Googled it. Safety and security.
Mm.
That's what peace of mind means. So when you know your numbers, you have that safety and security to really, really go after your goals and to make decisions on who you're going to hire next. Can you outsource in your business and in your home? Are there things that you could delegate to somebody else, even if you have to pay them in order to move your business further? Things start moving really quickly when you can make those decisions, because what happens is your brain has all of this free space and clarity, and just it's released the mental load. So now your decisions about your business are easier, they're faster, and they are a lot more freaking fun, because you're not like, oh, I'm going to do this and it's going to help my business, but can I afford it? Those questions are no longer in your brain, because you are focused on the data, not drama. So the
Oh,
drama is where you get lost in your energy, right? But the data it is the numbers on the screen telling you what you are able to do at this stage in the game and what's possible, a couple months moving forward. A statistic just popped into my head that I read last week. Only 69% of businesses even look at their bank account.
oof,
Like, look, open their bank account and look. That doesn't mean that they're managing the money. They just like
work.
sign in and look at what is happening in their bank account. And even then, they have better and easier decision-making skills in their business than those who just don't even open their bank account. Like, that's
Mm,
huge. And
that is huge.
that's not even tracking. That's not knowing the numbers. It's just seeing what's in front of you. Imagine what you could do knowing all the numbers.
It is a game changer. Absolutely. I want to ask you about two different types of people. So what I know you've worked with clients who are making really good money and they're still spiraling. Like, what can you just talk about those people a little bit? Like, what have you noticed? Because this isn't a matter of like, I'm not making enough money. This is
Mm.
like sales might be not what you thought they were, or you thought you'd be further ahead by now, or you're having a low month compared to normal, or you're making really good money, and you're just like, what do I do with the money? Or, there's so many things that can come into this conversation. So what about those people who are making really good money and maybe are having a dip this month?
Mm-hmm. So every single one of them that have already brought in 100 grand, 6 figures or more for the year, say that they do not know that number until they go to pay their taxes. They did not know that they made 6 figures. They had zero idea. In fact, one of my clients last year said that she would have guessed she made $40,000 in revenue the previous year. She made
She made 6 figures.
150,000. Right. So this is what your brain can do to you. It does not make her it doesn't mean she's not smart. It doesn't
No,
mean
of
that she's
course
not
not.
good at what she does. It means her brain has tricked her
Yeah.
into thinking that she is not making money because all of those questions are spiraling.
Yeah.
Because she spends so much energy on, I feel like I make a lot of money. I feel like I have tons of clients.
So
What
where's it going?
Where is it going? I have nothing to show for it. And it's incredible what $5,000 a month in business revenue can afford you.
Mm.
If your expenses are tightened up, and I don't mean cut all of your expenses. I mean, if you're spending your money where it's very important to you and not bleeding it all over all over areas that are not
Eating out.
eating out. But if that's important to you, you know,
Yes.
that's important to you. That's not important to our family. What's important to our family are experiences with the kids, being able to spontaneously go out for ice cream. Okay, ice cream, not eating out, but like ice cream. um, Shopping if we need to get something. My kids are at an age where they're growing out of their clothes constantly. I don't have
Yes.
to worry about a wardrobe replacement. I don't want to have to worry about if that is something that I can afford. I already know the numbers. I already know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when that's going to happen. Um, so yeah, making a lot of money means it doesn't mean anything if you don't know how much you're making and you don't know where it's going.
And I know we've talked with clients making not just 6 figures, but multiple 6 figures, and it's no different. So
No,
this is like money is the way that people think about, manage their money, like without having education in it. It's the same across the board, and the feelings and the spirals can be very consistent. We've noticed now, after working with and talking with more people at different levels in their business, it is not different when you are brand new and not making money to when you're making big money and you're just not managing it. So let's go back now to the other side of that spectrum, because I feel like now we've kind of touched on the middle. When you're making some and you're having a dip, you're making a lot and you don't know where it's going, or you're having a dip. What about the people who genuinely are at like, they're not making sales all of a sudden? There's either a dip or it's a new business, and they really are like at that break-even point, or maybe even in a bit of debt. And like, what do you say to those clients when they come to you?
So at that point, it is incredibly important that you are diligent in looking at your numbers, because there are two ways that you can turn that ship around. You can cut your expenses, like cut the losses, and you can make more sales. A lot of times it is a combination of both of those, right? A lot of times it's not one or the other. There are lots of expenses you cannot cut because you have to survive. You have to eat. You have to have gas for your car. You have to go to work, whatever. It's going to be really difficult to make sales when your numbers are a mess. And I say that with all the love, because my numbers were once a mess. And what I know
Same.
to be true, what I know to be true is you cannot have clean business finances with messy personal finances.
Yeah.
So before the sales start coming back in, that's where we're going to focus. We're going to focus on your personal, clean that up, make it run so smoothly. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's coming. You know exactly how you're going to use the money when it comes. And then we get to, like, it's almost like, oh my gosh, what are like a top, right? The old style tops that you spin on the ground, but like the ones where you pull the string and it just like flies across the floor. working on your personal money is winding that top up, right?
Yeah.
Being able to switch gears to making sales in your business and making those sales count with your money is ripping that string and letting that top fly. Like, the momentum that you will have immediately is, you won't even understand it. You will not understand how you're getting control of your personal finances affected your business that much until it happens. And I see it over and over and over again. And there is a lot of resistance. Let me tell you, there's a lot of resistance to starting with your personal. In fact, to confuse you even more, in my program, we don't start with personal because there was so much resistance that they were not doing anything, right? It
Right.
was like, that feels hard, not doing it. Give me another piece of homework. So we start with business now to like ease their mind and show you how incredibly easy this can be. And then we translate that to your personal. Once your personal is cleaned up, then we can go back to business and say, great, how can we clean up your expenses? How can you make more money? And what are you going to do with that money when it comes in? Because that also releases that decision fatigue. So, what you don't want is like an influx of money that you have not already made decisions on, because those questions are going to come back. That old mindset is going to come back. What do I do with this? I'm not good with money. I've been bad with money my whole life. And that paralysis of like what to do with the money is going to come back and stop you in your tracks.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I know that you have, I mean, you do in your program too, but you've had clients where you're like, you know what? I am going to suggest you start with your business, especially when you have a new business. Like, there's not a lot to manage. So, like, get a system, get a budget, get used to looking at the numbers, have a separate bank account. Because I know my husband and I, we just bought a new business in the fall, and the books were so easy to set up because I had the foundational tools that BECCA had given me, and it has been easier to set up, easiest to maintain out of all my books. And that business is making money. But because it was just new and fresh and a clean slate, it was easier to start there. But the message that BECCA is saying, and what I have found, is that if you don't then shift focus to getting your personal numbers in order, those habits will only inevitably spill into that business. Like, you cannot have your ducks in a row here and then be a mess over here and think that that's going to be long-term sustainable. It's not. So it's okay to start with the one that feels easier if that's what's going to get you into action, which is what BECCA has found with her clients. Like, that has been tangible. But then it's about, okay, now we've got to get back to the personal and just clean it up. And it's never as hard as it feels, but it is daunting. It does feel a little daunting. And that's why having somebody to guide you is definitely the shortcut.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish that I had had somebody personally. I had like all the internet gurus and stuff when I started. But I would have loved to have someone face to face, even if it was through, virtually face to face, to say, here's your next step.
Just sit
From
with you.
where, yeah, just sit with me and say, like, let's do this.
Look at it.
Set a timer, pop in and pop out. Like, you don't understand how much better you will feel knowing versus my dad said this yesterday, a wild ass guess. He said something about a wag, and I was like, what is a wag? He was like, a wild ass guess. And I was like, yes. Yeah,
Yes.
like, that's giving your brain the evidence that it needs, that you aren't bad with money. You just haven't been able to untangle everything to lay it out flat. I used this example. I'm like big on the analogies lately, but I used this example of a friendship bracelet. I am about to age myself. I don't care. But when I was in elementary school, we had friendship bracelets with the thread, right? Not the rubber ones that you
Yes.
have today. And all I did was I would tie the knot and all the string that I wanted to use, all the colors. I would clip it to a clipboard if I was ready to work on it. If I wasn't ready to
Oh my
work on it, I would
gosh.
ball it up and stuff it in my backpack. And what happened when I got home? It was all tangled. So I would have to put the knot in the clipboard and I would have to untangle it string by string. And that's how I visualize getting your personal numbers in order.
When you keep stuffing it in your bag for later.
Stuffing it in your back pocket for later, it feels less daunting when you're like, we're just going to focus on this one string and getting this one string loose. And then it'll be much easier to get the next string loose. And then when you're at the last 3, it's like, bam, done. Lay all the strings out flat, and now you can see what you have. I hope that lands with you, because that is exactly, it's a puzzle. And if you don't love puzzles, you are in luck, because I am obsessed with puzzles.
Us too.
So,
It is cold here in the winter. I'm in Canada, and -30 is not fun. So we do a lot of puzzles and movies and things in the winter to survive.
right.
So, Becca, I want to ask you, for those listening that are like, okay, I hear you. I need some help. I'm ready to admit that I need help. I'm ready to get some help and see what is available to me to feel more in control and have that peace of mind with my money. How can somebody get some help? How can they get in touch with you? What do you have?
The best place for you to be if you have a business is inside Mind Her Business, with other women who are growing their businesses and getting really confident with their money. That is the best place for you to be. You're going to learn from me, but you're also going to learn from all of those other women who've been in it 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and they are just a couple of steps ahead of you. If you know that getting control of your money, especially after listening to this episode, if you know that getting control of your money could slingshot your business faster than it is going right now, I'm going to drop a link in the show notes for you to book a 15-minute call with me to chat about your specific circumstances, your goals for your money, whether that's debt payoff or savings or paying for a new car or saving for a new house, whatever that is. Book that call with me and let's chat about where you are right now with your money, how you're feeling, where you want to be with your money. And then we can decide together what the best place for you to be is. The most important thing that I want you to hear is that your habits with your money will not change without practice. Your habits with your money, if I gave you $10,000 tomorrow, handed you a stack of cash, I can guarantee you that that money would be gone a lot faster, and you would not know where it went if you don't have a system to track your money. And that is not because it's not any fault of your own, right? We are not taught this in school. If you're taught this, kudos to your parents or whoever you lived with or whoever stepped in to teach you this. But it's okay to ask for help if you need help. And if this is what's going to build that foundation to really grow your business and scale your business to not only the sales that you want, but the impact that that business is going to create for people, then this is your next best step. It is your next best step. And I can promise you, I have 0 doubts that this can help. 0, less than 0. So just book a call with me. I'm a normal human. You will not be roped into anything that is not best for you. And let's chat. I'm excited. I hope I get like a ton of calls because I just like to chat with people, as you can tell.
I was going to say, like, we are creatures of habits, and if nothing changes, nothing changes. This is your wake-up call that if this is speaking to you, to make a decision, book a call, and see what your options are, because you are capable, you are smart. And oh my gosh, there's a TikTok that I have been laughing about, and I can't even remember who it is, but he says, you are smart and you have good thoughts and you're going to have a great day. And I forget what it is. Oh my gosh, I wish I could think of it right now, but it makes me laugh every time. And I was listening to it on repeat this week. You have good thoughts. You are smart. You could do this.
That's right. You can do this. It may feel hard at first, and that's okay. It's hard for everybody when they start. It was hard for me. It was hard for Marley. If Marley had not, let's be honest, if Marley had not had me messaging her daily, hey, have you done your budget today? Hey, have you started your budget? Hey, when are you going to put that on your schedule? Hey, she probably a year and a half later would be resisting it.
Yeah. It took me 6 months, and then I did it in an hour, and then it was done, buttoned up.
it can be that easy for you too.
This was amazing. I'm so excited to hear the takeaways from those who are listening. And regardless of where you're at, you have tools to be able to really, really gain control of your money, regardless of where you're at, regardless of where you're going, and regardless of what your sales look like today, because we are looking at bigger picture when it comes to our money. That's what you're going to get, is that bird's eye view when you have control. And it's going to make everything else in your business so much easier.
I can't wait to talk.